am the regional liaison for Governor Whitmer. We're really excited to have you all joining us today. And before we get started, I just wanted to share a couple of items. We'll be keeping all attendees on mute for the duration of the event. At the end of the governor's remarks, we're going to do our best attempt at a group photo. We know it's not the same as being in person, but we're going to give it a try, and we'll make sure that we get that out to all of the attendees as well. After the group photo, we're going to ask everyone to log off so that the governor can move into the press portion of the event. If you have any questions, thoughts, or concerns after the event, please be sure to reach out. I'm always willing to meet with folks. I really want to, hear about your thoughts and your concerns. Everyone should have my contact info because I think I've emailed you a bunch of times in preparation for this. And so with that, I'd like to introduce Dr. Justin Bean, who's the founder of Grand Rapids Center for Community Transformation, and also is our host for this event. So, Dr. Bean.
Hey, welcome everybody. Good to see you all. I think I know most of you all, but if not, then come see me. So we were excited to be the host and actually get you guys all over to our renovated space, but because of the snow, obviously we're doing it virtually. So we'll see each other soon. But specifically, we're really here today, excited with local elected officials and clergy, business owners, of course, our Mayor Bliss, and we're going to hear from Governor Whitmer. Really, as we enter into this next year, we're really fixing our eyes on what I think is really a massive opportunity for our Grand Rapids community, as well as communities all over our state, to really partner across the aisle, religions, socioeconomic statuses and sectors to really make some necessary and I think unprecedented change. Specifically here at the Center for Community Transformation, we really were formed for that very purpose, to really create a platform for transformation where we say everyone can belong, develop, dream, and innovate. And so this year we kind of developed what we're calling our manifesto. And I think it's probably more than just a manifesto for ourselves, but probably really for our city and maybe other cities around the state and country, because really it came from deeply listening to you all, from community members across sectors, to really hear what they said and what they were dreaming about in terms of what we could do. And so I want to read it to you, and I really hope that it resonates with you and really will set the context for us as we listen to some community members, again, Mayor Bliss and Governor Whitmer, who will all address you. This great city belongs to all of us. Its gateways of education and employment, its houses of culture, worship, and recreation, its highways of innovation and entrepreneurship. But for so many, there has been no seat at the table, only barriers along the way. We're the Center for Community Transformation. Grand Rapids is our home. The 49507 community is our heart. In our eyes, everyone is endowed with dignity, creativity, and talent. And it's clear to us that the deep-rooted inequity in our society is really primed for disruption. And we're not only reimagining our city, but enterprise itself. We're a collaborative of businesses, community members, and passionate organizations, relational and outcomes focused, an ecosystem for social innovation, enterprise, investment, and career and entrepreneurial development, a platform for human flourishing. Why? Because unhindered access to opportunity is the only road to a city of vitality, a city of inspiration, a city for all. And so I hope and pray that this manifesto inspire us today to dream big, to work hard, and to unite as we seek to love our city and our state into greatness. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bean. It's really good to have you here, and I appreciate your work to pull this together with us. Now I'd like to invite Mayor Bliss to give some remarks.
Thank you, Melissa, and good afternoon, everyone. It's so great to be here with so many amazing community leaders and stakeholders. And Justin, just thank you for all of your work in our community and for sharing your manifesto, but more importantly, thanks for all the work that you do in bringing community together. I'm really delighted to be here with the governor. Appreciate her inviting us and really highlighting, taking this opportunity to highlight her commitment to strengthening communities. There are so many proposals that have a direct impact on people who call Grand Rapids home. And, your vision is so key to helping Grand Rapids really meet our vision for what we can be. So I want to highlight a few things. So since you took office, we should all be proud that over $2 billion in water infrastructure has been invested, not just supporting 3,000 jobs, but this investment has allowed our city to accelerate our work to replace all of our lead service lines in our entire system. Since 2017, we have replaced approximately 1,400 lead service lines through our lead service line replacement program, which in most times, in most cases, it has allowed us to replace lead service lines at zero cost to the homeowner. And as we look to our business community, as we continue to assist our business community and support their efforts to really close the skills gap, it was through your leadership that we were able to put 170,000 Michiganders on tuition-free paths to higher education and skills training through both the Michigan Reconnect and the Futures for Frontliners. These programs, many of us know people who have benefited from these programs, and I'm so grateful that we have Grand Rapids Community College right here in our city to help with these efforts. And for people who don't know this, currently there are over 2,400 students enrolled in one of these programs at GRCC right now. It's really incredible. A couple of final things. I also really want to personally just say thank you for a number of the priorities, Governor, that you outlined in the State of the City address, especially the proposal to increase Michigan's earned income tax credit, which we know directly benefits working families. So this will pull tens of thousands of Michiganders out of poverty and will send over 730,000 families an average of almost $3,000 that they can use for everyday expenses. So as we look to the year ahead, as Justin said, we're in a really unique opportunity with the availability of one-time federal stimulus recovery dollars. And these dollars have the potential to make transformative investments in our communities and ensure that we are competitive with other cities and states across the country. And I look forward to working with all of our community leaders and you in the days and months ahead. So thank you again, Governor Whitmer, for your leadership, for joining us together in our community today, and more importantly, for really supporting the work that we're trying to accomplish here in our community. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Bliss. And now I'd like to introduce Paula Collier, who is a host neighbor and a board member of Seeds of Promise.
Good afternoon, Governor, Mayor Bliss, and Dr. Bean, and everyone else on the panel. I appreciate this opportunity. My name is Paula Collier, and I am a resident stakeholder in Grand Rapids in the Southtown community. I've been here for over 45 years. Today is certainly a pleasure for me to share this platform with our Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and our Mayor Bliss. Thank you. I'm encouraged by several things that Governor Whitmer has achieved. She has harvested the bipartisan support since taking offices. And of course, we know that this is a huge step of progress in Michigan. And however, I'm most appreciative that she is earnestly working to invest more dollars into our mental health systems. As we know, mental health affects many, and it has been revealed in so many forms, such as the US Capitol incident and the broad increase in our communities, our schools, and police services. And also, COVID has revealed so many needs for mental health services. So today, I'm just very happy to be a part of this platform, and I know that Governor Whitmer is here with us to expound on putting her plans to continue working with Michiganders by putting families first and improving the lives of working families. So I thank you very much once again.
Thank you, Paula. And now I'd like to introduce Tino Scott, who is the owner of Scott's Lawn Service.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, Governor, Mayor, Dr. Bean. Thank you for your time today. Everyone, my name is Tino Scott, and yes, I'm a local business owner with Scott Services and a developer with Scott and Associates as well, respectively. And just like Governor Whitmer, I am a member of the sandwich generation, meaning that I take care of my kids and my parents simultaneously. And my mom, she is recently retired, and I know that her and many other seniors would benefit greatly from repealing of the retirement tax. Also, it disturbs me to think that, my mother-in-law, who has been a patient on insulin for the last couple of years, that her and many others could someday not be able to have access to their medicine, in this case, insulin, due to the overpricing by our pharmaceutical companies. Another area of interest is I have 3 children, and as a parent, the extra monies from an increased earned income tax credit would be a game changer as my wife and I try to navigate through our uncertain tomorrow with today's dollars. And finally, to everyone here listening, we all have to ask ourselves, what can we collectively and individually engage in that will truly bring about the kind of great city and state that we all can be proud of? For me, it's high level of community engagement and being active and impactful in my own community. And in the future, I look forward to working with anyone willing to create a better today and a greater tomorrow. So with that, I would like to, with no further ado, I would like to bring on Governor Whitmer.
Thank you, Tino, and thank you for sharing your story with us. I think I think in these moments, right, where we've felt so disconnected and so stressed after a couple of really tough years, to see the humanity in one another by sharing our stories is really important. And I appreciate you. I appreciate Dr. Bean. I appreciate Paula, and I appreciate my good friend and partner, Mayor Bliss, and all the different hats that you all wear. None of us is one thing, right? We're heads of households. We are heads of, business entities or municipalities, or organizations. We're community leaders, and perspective is really important. And I think that it's harder and harder to come by when weather keeps us apart after a pandemic's been keeping us apart, and yet making the effort to connect. So thank you for making the effort to connect, all of you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for showing up every single day, even if we have to do it virtually some days. Last week I delivered my State of the State address. Next week I will be introducing the executive budget. Will be 1 week from today, actually. And in the State of the State, I don't think there was any big surprises in it. It was a continuation of focusing on the fundamentals, on the kitchen table issues, the issues that matter most to families. But I also wanted to use the State of the State to acknowledge the good bipartisan work we have been able to do together. This is a polarizing moment in our nation, maybe around the globe, but we've still been able to get a lot of important things done when we focus on growing our economy or creating jobs, cutting taxes, lowering costs for families. This is where I think we have more opportunity to find common ground, and that's what I'm working toward every single day. So no one's going to be shocked when I start with, and as I did last week, focusing on the roads. We made a lot of progress. We've repaired, replaced, rebuilt over 13,000 lane miles of roads, over 900 bridges, and every region of our state has benefited from it. And that's 82,000 good paying jobs that have been sustained in rebuilding our infrastructure. And I wanted people to remember when they see those orange barrels on the road. I know they're frustrating, but it's a symbol of two things. Number one, it's time to slow down, because we are in a zone where there are hardworking women and men who are risking their lives to rebuild our infrastructure. So we got to slow down. And second, when you see that orange barrel, remember that's what progress looks like. We're moving dirt and we are fixing those damn roads. During my address, I also really kind of highlighted a number of really good things we've been able to get done together. Republicans and Democrats working together in Lansing. It does happen. And, I know it feels like it's hard for us to ever find common ground, but we've done some really important work. We've delivered over $420 million in relief to small businesses through COVID, helped small businesses expand operations, get through the pandemic, and retain over 200,000 jobs in the process. We expanded access to low or no cost childcare to 1 in 3 Michigan kids. Now it's free or very low cost. We made the largest education investment in our state's history. And we finally closed that gap between wealthier districts and economically strapped districts, where now we invest the same in all students. It was a major step forward. And I'm proud of that. We've invested $2 billion in water infrastructure, as Mayor Bliss mentioned. That is, you're seeing the result of local leadership utilizing resources to deliver for people. And I'm just so glad that Mayor Bliss shared what's happening in Grand Rapids, because I think it's important for people to not just hear the number in Lansing, but to see what it means for our lives. We've funded better training for our police and delivered hazard pay to first responders. We put 170,000 people in our state on that tuition-free path that Mayor Bliss talked about. And I love that she shared with us that there's, I think, 2,400 people at GRCC alone who now have an opportunity to get better skills so they can get a better paying job. And since I've taken office, we created 20,000 really good paying jobs in the auto industry. Last week, we announced a $7 billion investment that General Motors is making in Michigan, building batteries. This is how we lock in our leadership position on mobility. And I think it's just a huge showing that if we focus on where we can find common ground, we can get a lot of good stuff done. So I'm proud of what we've done. I think we've got to take this momentum, even though I know it's a even numbered year, which sometimes makes it harder to negotiate and find common ground. But that's a reference to the election. In case anyone's wondering why are even numbered years hard. This is just a stressor when we know that there's going to be a lot of election year pressures. I think we got an opportunity here in this window to get a lot more good stuff done. Michigan is a phenomenal state. We got a low cost of living, a high quality of life. We work hard. We care about our families. And we focus on helping people get ahead. I think there's common ground to be had. So what I propose is eliminating the retirement tax. It is something that I fought against when it was created in the first place. When I was in the legislature as the leader of the opposition, I've been trying to get rid of this since I took office. I proposed eliminating it in 2019. If we get this done, we can save 500,000 retirees, people who worked hard and played by the rules and did their calculation after a lifetime of work and figured on they could survive on this limited income. And then the state changed all the rules. And now we've seen a lot of really, a lot of people who have worked their whole lives worried about just getting by. And with inflation, we know it's even harder. And that's why I think right now is the time to make it right. For our working families, I propose increasing the Michigan Earned Income Tax Credit. This is a bipartisan break that was created for working families. This is for people who work but don't make enough money to be able to keep their head above water and to raise families. So just by raising the Earned Income Tax Credit, we can pull tens of thousands of Michiganders out of poverty and send 730,000 families an average of about $3,000. And the thing that I think is so impactful here is 1 million children. That's half the kids in Michigan benefit when we raise the EITC. That's new backpacks or a warmer coat, more hot meals. I mean, this is a meaningful way that we can really give people the kind of help to overcome the brunt of inflation and help people who are working get ahead. And right now, as we think about inflation, so that would keep money in our pockets. Another way is to make sure we spend less on the things that we have to spend on. One of those things is insulin. As Mr. Scott spoke earlier, we know that there are tens of thousands of people in our state that require insulin to live. cost of one vial is about $100. And many patients who require insulin go through 2 or 3 vials a month. That's $3,600 a year. And there's basically a monopoly on insulin production. There's not competition, and we've seen prices skyrocket. They've tripled in 10 years. And so our Attorney General, Dana Nessel, is taking on the biggest producer of insulin under the Michigan Consumer Protection Act. She's investigating their pricing. And in the legislature, we've got a bipartisan package of bills to cap the cost of insulin at $50 a month, which would be a huge help to so many people who are right now rationing insulin or forgoing it altogether. So I'd love to get that done. I also want to make sure that as we see our mobility transition into electric, all of the major producers of automobiles and trucks have committed to being fully electric in the next 10 to 15 years. Michiganders should be able to benefit from that directly. Electric cars are cheaper to maintain, and so there's a net savings here, but the price point can be formidable. And so I've proposed a combined $2,500 electric vehicle rebate for families. It'd be $2,000 toward the car, $500 for the in-home charging equipment. And when you add that to the federal tax credit, that's $10,000 off of the cost of a new electric vehicle. So this is how we can help Michiganders support the advanced mobility that we are going to be producing right here in our own state and save money in the process. And encourage people to buy the Michigan-made electric vehicles, by the way. All right, and then mental health. So the last few years has taken a toll on every one of us. We're all going to carry the stress of it with us. But for people who are suffering pre-pandemic, it's been exponentially worse. And access to mental health care is very, very difficult. 40% of people in our state who need mental health care have no ability to access it. And so addressing the shortfall is something that I think is really important. I'm proposing that we use the Michigan Loan Repayment Program for mental health professionals so we can make a historic investment in retaining and recruiting mental health workers. Also, in last year's budget, we put resources into our school system so that our kids would be wrapped with nurses and counselors, social workers, et cetera. We're going to do even more of that in this year's budget, which I'll be introducing next week. I think expanding access, taking away the stigma, really recognizing that every one of us has been through an incredible amount and seeing the humanity in one another, extending a little grace. I know it's hard to come by when we're all exhausted and frustrated. We see it playing out every day. I think investing in mental health, recognizing it's just as important as our physical health is really crucial to our long-term success and recovery from the last 2 years in particular. So these are some of the fundamentals that I highlighted in my State of the State last week. As we introduce the budget next week, I encourage you to drill down on it on Wednesday when it comes out, weigh in where you see opportunities or you see needs that we need to work toward. Please stay engaged with us and be a part of the process. Your voices are really important. We, at the beginning of COVID, our economists were anticipating and projecting a $3 billion deficit. It's 33% of the state general fund. We've turned that projected deficit into a surplus. A year after that projection, we had $3.5 billion surplus. Now it's north of $5 billion. So we have resources thanks to our partners at the federal level, thanks to good management through this pandemic and getting our credit rating upgraded in the process. It's been a remarkable, challenging couple of years, but we've got a real opportunity in front of us, and your voices need to be an important part of determining what that looks like so we create equity and opportunity for everyone in our state. So thank you for logging on to today's conversation. I know it feels less of a conversation, more of a lecture probably, since I've been doing most of the talking, but please stay engaged with Melissa and my team and with the legislature, because your voices are really important. At this historic moment, it's more important than ever that we're very clear about what the people of our state want to see happen in Lansing. We're capable of an incredible greatness. And I say, let's get it done, and let's get it done together. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you to everyone for joining us this afternoon. As I mentioned at the beginning, we'd love to try to do a group photo. So for folks who want to be part of that photo, if you want to come on camera, we'll go ahead and do that photo, and I'll do a 1, 2, 3, and then our team will take the photo, and then we'll make sure that we distribute that out to everybody. And hopefully it turns out well. You never know with these Zoom photos, but we're gonna try. So if folks can come on camera, and then I'm gonna count down, or I'll count up to 3. So 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. Thank you to everyone for joining us today. As the governor said, please reach out to me. I definitely want to stay engaged with all of you, and I'll be doing a lot of outreach in the coming days after this event. And so if folks could log off, the governor's going to move into the press portion of the event. And like I said, we really appreciate you being here today. Thank you so much.